there's a couple of famous, and I put famous in quotes, obviously, inmates who spent time at San Quentin. I would love to know Stanley Tookie Williams, co-founder of the Crips gang. He was his life was taken by lethal injection at San Quentin prison, where he spent 25 years of his life. Do you happen to remember that specific time? I'm just curious. And did you know anything about that situation?
I was at the prison the day, I was doing time there when he was executed. And, unfortunately, Tookie was in a spot where, the society and politics and everything like that were trying to push everybody, push this idea that, killing somebody is what we ought to be doing with people. And, I'm of the opinion, because I took somebody's life, I says, well, I deserve to die for what I did. But the reality is that I also think that, before they start going around killing people, that, they should prosecute and kill, somebody who is a millionaire. And because, it almost invariably, the people that get wind up on death row, if not every one of them, they didn't have money. They didn't have money for people to, and pay for their, for attorneys that would, keep, make sure that their rights were not being violated. So, the idea that somebody should be killed for what they did, that's the thing. And then Tookie was, purportedly he didn't do what they said he did in the first place. I did not know him directly. I think I've seen him walk in being escorted by staff, because the death row inmates were under close security and everything like that. And surprisingly, they're now transferring those guys to prisons, and they're letting them walk a main line and stuff like that nowadays. But back when Tookie was there, he was in the maximum security area, and I was not privy to that kind of area, or I wasn't going to be there. So I just hear the stories and stuff like that. And, I was hearing stories about that, if they killed him, that, prison guards and or police out on the streets were going to be killed and everything like that. And so they locked us down, and I think we stayed locked down for about 3-4 days as a result of that. And, but it came and went. And I remember, what was his name? Reverend Jesse Jackson, he came to see him, and a couple of other celebrities came to see him at that time. I think Snoop Dogg actually came to see him as well.
Yeah.
And, I was hearing the stories, and I was kind of like watching that stuff unfold.
Okay. Now, another person who spent time there, and I believe you went in a little bit before your time, but I'm wondering if you know anything or remember any stories about Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker.
Oh yeah, I've seen him walking in the prison, or not walking in, being escorted. And he was, again, just like Tookie, he was in high security. And he had never, anytime he was walking around there, just like Richard Allen Davis, the same thing. They were, being escorted around, and he was Richard Ramirez was, kind of like he was a spooky looking guy. And they walked him through the visiting room when I was out there a couple of times. But he, they had him isolated from us for the most part. And, they just kind of lived in their own world, so to speak.
Gotcha. Now, talk to us about what led to, hold on one second, sorry. Talk to us again about the San Quentin newspaper, some of your, times that you spent there, how you got the job, some of the stories you guys wrote, how the inmates felt about it. Can you go a little bit deeper into that?
I was a clerk at the time, and I was doing a lot of report writing and stuff like that. And, And so, and then I started to write. I was writing my own stories as well at that time and place. I'd written a full length novel, and sent it out for publication, and it got recognized. I mean, I came to very within an inch of getting published, and I started to get compliments on on my personal writing and stuff like that, and and I knew how to handle myself, and so they wanted somebody who was going to represent the paper without being pressured, making it into something that only talks about um, you know the the gripes that guys in prison would have versus what's really going on there, information about what to do with their lives, how to get themselves in the right spots and stuff like that. And so they trusted me, and so they asked me to be involved in the paper and get it going in the right direction. And that was a challenge because the guys the inmates didn't believe that there was going to be a valid paper, and the staff did not want a paper at all. And so we had to do a balancing act between the two. And some of the first things that happened was we wrote, so we published a few articles about what was going on in the hole, or ad seg as it's called, and about the conditions there, and they were terrible. And so we started pointing it out there and putting it out there in a way that we showed the guys that we're gonna tell the stories, but and also we were telling the stories about what's good going on in the prison system. What kind of opportunities they might be able to get in there and everything like that. And it was a good thing. We got blowback from just about every direction, and that was okay too. It was kind of not surprising that that happened, and but it was fun to be a part of that. And the paper went on. It blew up. It became very well known, and it's gotten honors from every different direction. You can find the San Quentin newspaper on the internet now. Every edition of the paper that has ever been printed is available on the internet right now, and you can go over there and you can look at the history of it all the way through from when we started it back in 2006. It was all the way up to current.